On February 13th, a new update in the XXXTentacion trial was revealed, sharing more information regarding Drake's involvement in the case. Toronto rapper Drake and his legal team reacted to his name being involved in the case, and before hearing the reaction, you need to know how it started. Now, on day 4 of the XXXTentacion trial, it was reported by news outlets, and I quote, "According to reports, Drake has reportedly been ordered to sit for a deposition in the XXXTentacion trial on February 24th. If Drake fails to show up, he's ordered to appear before the court on February 27th. Now, right now, the XXXTentacion trial is split between two sides. X's lawyers know the 4 suspects, Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, Trayvon Newsom, and Robert Allen, are all 4 guilty. Yet the suspects' lawyers, they're trying to make the claim that Drake is actually responsible. Now, the defense must be making some sort of good argument, as Drake is scheduled for a deposition. Fast forward until today, Drake's team has now filed a motion to quash the deposition subpoena in the XXXTentacion trial, and this court document was shared today. Non-party Aubrey Drake Graham, by and through his undersigned counsel, according to the Florida rules of criminal procedure, seeks relief from the demands contained in defendant Dedrick Williams' deposition subpoena for personal appearance set on January 27th, 2023, and files this motion to quash and for protective order from the court, and in support thereof would state. Now, this Twitter thread continued stating, singer Drake attorney argued in court this morning that the deposition subpoena was not served correctly, and argued that Drake had nothing to do with XXXTentacion's passing. Judge told them to get with defense and arrange the deposition. Now, sources allegedly claim that there's a possibility that Drake could have had some sort of involvement, as the defense attorney in the courtroom had this to say about the Toronto rapper Drake.
Before X, he said, if any, it's Drake. And do you think that for one moment, here today, days after the event, 2 masked men, right? He came on social media and said, guys, if anybody is straight, do you think in that time span that they went and they addressed him, they talked to him? No. Do you think sitting here today, years later, any detective has ever asked, Drake or anybody like that? No, they never did that. So you ask yourself, how could that be? And you say, hey, it's so-and-so, you better believe so-and-so is gonna get investigated. But in this case, they didn't do it. They didn't do it because it didn't comport with their version and their narrative. And as law enforcement, I think that they have the obligation to do so.
If you're a fan of XXXTentacion, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now, the likelihood of Drake having any part in the passing of XXXTentacion is very slim. Now, the defense attorney, however, states, and I quote, XXXTentacion said, if I were to pass, then Drake did it. Now, this was during an Instagram live stream that X had, and he even posted an Instagram story stating this, if anyone tries to get me, it was at Champagne Poppy, aka Drake. I'm snitching right now. Now, the famous beef between X and Drake started many years ago. X made a tweet stating, Drake's mom is kinda cute. Things slowed down, however, for a little bit after this, as XXXTentacion was arrested and placed into jail. While X was arrested, however, his hit song Look at Me went viral online in a massive way, something that many of us have never seen before. Now, Drake noticed this song going completely viral. He then released a song called KMT, stealing the exact flow, speed, and even used a similar beat of X's song Look at Me, trying to capitalize off X's skyrocketing music career. While X was sitting in jail, his manager then called him through the jail phone, letting him know what's going on, and X was ready to be released. Shortly after, XXXTentacion was then released from jail. The next day, hopped on an interview, and he went straight after Drake. Starting a massive beef online with the Toronto rapper only helped his music career skyrocket even more. With X's music career at the highest it's ever been, he sadly passed away. Now, Drake would then release another new song, and he would kind of give his reaction to his passing. Now, Drake stated these lyrics during a song, maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Now these lyrics could obviously be for entertainment purposes and most likely are, but let me break down those lyrics for you real quick. If you break a 20, you get 2 10s. Then do a 5. If it gets live, do a 5 again, leaving you with 2 sets of 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, and in the end, it leaves you with 3 sets of the number 10. 3 10s in Roman numerals is 3 X's for XXXTentacion. Then Drake says if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. On Instagram Live, XXXTentacion went not only after Drake, but his mother as well. Now, once Drake is ready for his deposition in the XXXTentacion trial, he will be read exactly how X's passing went down to see if he knows anything about it. Now, this is exactly what he will be told, as this is all information coming from one of the suspects in the case named Robert Allen, who actually snitched out the entire process of this XXXTentacion passing. Now, Robert gave us a perspective on his passing from somebody within 5 feet from it happening, as it states, on January 18th, 2018, X's day starts by him hopping into his custom black BMW i8 and heading over to Riva Motorsports. While at Riva Motorsports, X scopes out a motorcycle that he would like to purchase. This motorcycle that he wants to buy apparently has a cash deal where if he buys in all cash, the motorcycle will be cheaper. X realizes this and then calls his mom saying what's about to go down. He calls his mom and his mom tells him to swing by the house and pick up his uncle before heading to the Bank of America. After shortly picking up his uncle and his i8, he then heads over to the Bank of America. While at the bank, XXXTentacion attempts to withdraw $250,000 worth of cash, but is only allowed to be given $50K at the time. He gets the cash and he stuffs it in his Louis Vuitton pullover bag, as here is footage of X obtaining the $50,000 worth of cash.
During your encounter with Mr. Onfroy during this time, what was his demeanor like? Fine. Second seemed happy.
Now, the bank teller that day that XXXTentacion was speaking with had this statement be released. Cecilia Ramos, the bank teller that was working at the Bank of America the day sadly X passed, you could see him smile and talk with the teller. He came into the bank and wanted to withdraw $250K. The bank didn't keep that kind of cash on hand, so Cecilia gave him $50,000 and ordered the rest for a later date. Now, XXXTentacion was okay and understood the process of the bank. He then gets the money and starts walking back to his BMW i8. While walking back to his vehicle, Robert Allen reveals they saw X walking back to his supercar. Seeing X hop into this car and begin driving, the 4 suspects in their Jeep then tail his vehicle, following him all the way back to Riva Motorsports. With them noticing X pulling into the parking lot, 2 of the suspects then hop out of their Jeep. Meanwhile, the other 2 drive the Jeep across the street and wait for X to leave. The 2 men then follow XXXTentacion into Riva Motorsports. They watch him from afar, keeping an eye on him, making sure he doesn't go anywhere, while also trying to see what is exactly in that Louis Vuitton bag. Now, the 2 men that followed X into the store ended up buying the ski masks and gloves that were used in the incident literally 15 feet away from X. Many people were not aware of that. But here's the surveillance photos of them entering the shop with X. The craziest part is, X actually makes eye contact with one of the suspects as caught on tape. With 2 of the men inside of the shop with X, they were then able to see this Louis Vuitton bag with tons of money in it. They then allegedly call back to the other 2 suspects, letting them know there's cash in the bag. With X not wanting the motorcycle anymore, he then leaves the motorcycle shop. Still wearing the Louis Vuitton bag, he hops back into his BMW alongside his uncle and begin trying to drive out. While trying to exit the parking lot, a minivan pulls up in front of X's vehicle, blocking him from leaving. 2 men then hop out of the vehicle and they go to XXXTentacion's side of the vehicle, holding firearms, demanding him to roll his windows down and hand over the cash as well as his diamond chain. Now, XXXTentacion was refusing, making them really work for it through a small window of a supercar. And while this small brawl is going down, his uncle in the passenger seat actually opens the butterfly door and sprints away, leaving X all by himself. With X refusing to give up the bag and chains, we all kind of know then what happened after that. Now today in court though, it was revealed, and I quote, prosecutors say Dedrick Williams was driving and cut off the car being driven by X. Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom, they put the ski masks on and had the firearms. While the passenger manages to run away, they approach X and Boatwright actually does it. Now also shared in the courtroom was answers to the questions that we have been waiting for since June 18th. Now with Robert Allen's snitching, he gave the insight on everything. He was reading like a book, snitching on these other three guys. As today we learned exactly how that $50,000 in the Louis Vuitton bag was split between the four men. Now Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, and Trayvon Newsom, these three suspects, they got $15,000 each. Now that means $45,000 is gone. This means that Robert, he was only given $5,000. Pretty interesting, the man paid the least amount of money is now the one snitching in the end, which I'm actually very happy about, as these suspects deserve to go to prison for life. Now as this tweet was also shared today in the courtroom, and I quote, pictures taken after XXXTentacion's passing. Same day, defendant Michael Boatwright flashing a lot of cash. Defendant turned state, witness testifies that this is X's money and photos taken hours after the incident, revealing these photos of the suspects flexing a few $1,000s worth of cash, thinking they're cool, yet they could have made the same amount of money and not waste their entire life working a couple months at McDonald's. Now Robert Allen shared the money situation. He then shared what X's last words were as well. After the incident was done, the suspects hopped back into the vehicle and they then shared what X said. As shared by DJ Academics, XXXTentacion's last words were, "What is this for?" making his passing feel even more upsetting. X didn't even understand what was going on during this incident, and it just makes everything feel a lot more upsetting. If you are an XXXTentacion fan, leave a like on the video and do not forget to subscribe for more trial content. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.